Hello, you are tuned in to Eric Jose on Doctor Who on YouTube. Here we will cover pretty much anything Doctor Who, spin-off shows from Doctor Who itself, old Doctor Who, anything goes, anything at all, people. I will talk about all kinds of Doctor Who here with you. So if you have any comments, questions, anything that you just want to just talk about or, ask me a question about, because I do have an extensive history with Doctor Who. I've seen pretty much everything that's available. So, like I said, I encourage feedback and comments and questions, so please do so. And I just wanted to introduce you to my friend here, Minnie Handles, who will be in my videos with me. The most recent episode, which I thought was pretty cool, and this is the episode that's now got me thinking, you know what? This show may have the ability to get good. It may have the ability to actually be somewhat entertaining and enjoyable. So in this episode, we find out that April is now getting the strength, the connection between her and the Shadow King, because they're sharing the same heart. The connection is getting stronger because the Shadow King has some of his sorcerers or whatever trying to perform sorcery to get the heart to stay in his body only, because he wants his full heart back. And so when they do that, they put in what they call an anchor. And basically what happens then is the first sorcerer comes up and puts in the anchor, but the anchor only ends up making the connection, the link between the two of them stronger, to where he's able to sense her feelings more, and she's also able to sense and access his abilities more. It's really crazy. So that happens, and then the Shadow King realizes that link between them got stronger, and that he didn't get control of his heart back, and he ends up killing that sorcerer, because he failed or whatever, right? Another sorcerer comes up telling the king, he tells the Shadow King, look, we can do this. We can get this to happen. I have another plan. And then just at that moment is when Ram and April are getting busy for the first time. And because April is riding the pony, as it were, she's having a lot of, sensual feelings. And that then causes the Shadow King to start presenting the mating colors. Apparently, the Shadow King and his race, when they go into mating mode, apparently their bodies and the whatever that looks like flames and the colors that are on their bodies or whatever will start to change color, and they actually show mating colors. Kind of funny. It was a pretty funny part, actually. I couldn't help but laugh because he was getting affected by April, who was in the throes of passion. So then he started going into the throes of passion and everything. And so and it was weird. I think him and his sorcerer, whatever it is. I don't know if it's I don't know how the shadow people in their way that their society works, but it looks like him and the sorcerer, or him and his wife or somebody ended up getting it on then. And the fact is it was different. It was weird, and he ends up saying something that makes the person the Shadow King says something that makes the person he's mating with mad, and so they're like, oh, so you got what you wanted then? Is there blah 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 blah? They're mad because they feel like he just used them or whatever. And what he says is, because he's still connected to April, what he responds to them when they say, is there anything else I can do for you? The Shadow King responds by saying, is it possible we could cuddle? Cuddle. The Shadow King. Come on. Oh, that was great. I was laughing my ass off. I'm sorry. But anyway, so we move on. So now we're moving back to the fact that April and Ram have, done the deed, and Mom walks in and catches them after they're done, and so they're sitting down having a talk with Mom. And while they're sitting down having a talk with Mom, Shadow King and his sorcerer are getting ready to do what they're going to do to try to get the heart to stay in his body. And so there's a little discussion, April and Ram talking with April's mom, and then Ram goes out to go get the rest of the crew, and April and her mom are there, and then they go outside, and then April's dad from prison, who tried to kill himself, his mom, and her, April, 10 years previously or whatever. He's out of jail now, and he's contacting them when he shouldn't be. And so they go outside. She ends up channeling the Shadow King's powers because she gets mad at him, and it's also tied in with the fact that the sorcerer is trying to take over the heart, and she's fighting it, and so she almost ends up killing her dad. I mean, crazy. It gets pretty crazy, but by the end of the episode, the Shadow King now knows where she is and knows how to get back to Earth, and she knows it. But not only that, she knows where he is, and she knows how to get to him. And so what she does at the end of the episode, after doing something with her mom, she reached into her mom's chest there at the end of the episode. Not really sure what she was doing, but she reached in there, like, or whatever. I don't know if she was doing something with the hearts again. I don't know. They don't explain it. But after that, she then realizes that the Shadow King can see them, and she goes and she opens the rift, and she goes searching for the Shadow King. And just before the rift closes, Ram goes and jumps through it after her. Now, there's something else that's been happening this whole time in this episode. There's these little tiny like pink flowers that are everywhere. They're appearing everywhere. The one, basically what they're theorizing is the new headmaster who's working for the governors, who the governors seem to be very more well informed. I think the governors might be people from UNIT. I'm kind of what my thinking is at this moment in time, but I don't know that for sure. But they know things. Okay, whoever she's working for, the new headmistress of the school, whoever she's working for, the governors who built that robot that we saw in the previous episode, I believe it was the coach with the dragon tattoo or the one with the tentacles. I can't remember, but they'd sent a robot to sit in on her classes and kind of evaluate her, and she ends up. At the end of the episode, it gets destroyed or whatever. So and the headmaster ends up getting killed by the dragon. In the episode of the dragon, the coach with the dragon tattoo. So now that we got this new headmistress come in, and we find out in this episode that she is very well informed indeed. She knows exactly what's going on with Miss Quill. She knows what Miss Quill has in her head, and she's even saying that they may have a way of helping her remove it. Interesting. So this isn't just some regular headmistress. So anyways, the whole thing about this is that while this is all going on with April and the Shadow King, there's these little pink flowers where this headmistress believes one blew through the rift, fed on a single drop of blood, was able to start multiplying, because that's what they do. If you feed one drop of blood, they'll just continue to double like every minute. They'll just keep like fusion, like they just bing, 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 they just split. And create more of themselves. So what's going to happen is now there's no birds chirping, and the squirrels are not. There's no squirrels. Like they actually show in the episode one squirrel that's covered with it has a few of these pink petal things on it, and it's like been eaten. And the headmistress says, think about it. Have you heard any birds today? And so it's what these things are doing is killing off any little animals, getting all that blood so that they can continue to multiply until there's so many of them that they're just suffocating everybody else. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So this is all going on the whole time. So this is basically this episode. This particular episode ends on a cliffhanger. You see. You hear Miss Quill and this new headmistress talking about these pink things and her offering Miss Quill the opportunity to possibly be able to get rid of the thing in her head that's making her a slave to Charlie. Then, right after that is when we see the part with April, when she does the thing with her mom, when she reaches into her mom's chest or whatever, and then suddenly realizes that the Shadow King can see her and see where they are, but also realizes she can see where he is and she can go after him. So then she goes after him, and the episode ends with she dives through the rift first, and then obviously, like I said, Ram ends up saying, tell my parents, and then he goes and jumps through it just as it's closing to follow her. So. And then that's it. So that's the cliffhanger. So we're left with, we don't know what's going on with these pink flowers and how that's going to get managed, what's going to be done to prevent them if they're multiplying the way they are. And we don't know what's going to happen with April. So like I said, this is the episode that may have gotten me in. So it was actually, compared to the other ones so far, this was the most fun to watch. And that may be because it was... I hate to say this, but that may be because it was light on Charlie. I don't like Charlie very much. Charlie is not a very good character at all, really. I don't understand how he could have ever been a leader of anything anywhere. He's like completely just not... I don't know. I don't see any leadership qualities in him. He seems just like kind of dumb. he seems like he doesn't really understand much, and I don't know. His character just seems like completely fatuous. Like, I don't know. I just don't see what purpose he serves. He's not a leader. He doesn't know what to do. I mean, I don't know. I don't see the purpose. Maybe there will be a purpose for his character eventually. But other than the fact that he is in possession of that cabinet of souls, he's really nothing. There's really no point to his character, in my opinion. It's just my feeling. But I think, they've already hedged themselves in at this point because Charlie and Quill are the two people from the other planet that the Doctor saved and brought them to Earth because, he wanted them to be able to live there and whatever. That's the way it is. Charlie's going to be sticking around because otherwise the show has no premise. If you lose one of those characters that this is all about. And the whole reason that this whole show exists is because the Doctor has placed those two characters here at this Coal Hill School. So that's my feelings about it. But other than Charlie being pretty much an ineffectual character who doesn't really serve any real purpose, I think the show may be starting to bite. It may be starting to get its traction. And I really, like I said, I thought this episode was really good. And I can't wait to see, where it goes in the next episode. Because like I said, it ends on a cliffhanger. So anyways, that's about it. That's all I had to say here about Class. This is, about the Doctor Who spinoff. And I don't know if anybody else is out there watching it, but feel free to comment. I'd love to hear what anybody else has to think about it. And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe.